You need facts, figures, scores, and scoops, and the truth.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the show with myself and Grant Johnson. But before we continue, just to bring you news of a name change to the show, Grant.
Yes, Andre. So we've decided to change the name from the Football Chat to Behind the Gloves. Being two goalkeepers, we want to chat quite a bit about goalkeeping, but not only goalkeeping, but so the new name, Behind the Gloves.
Fantastic. I think that's, and as you rightfully say, it's not just about goalkeeping that we want to bring news about every day or every week, if you like, but it's about football in general, and most importantly, sharing topics for discussion that is fitting with the public out there, and of course, our viewers.
Yes, absolutely. We could talk about goalkeepers from a different perspective, having both played the game at the highest level, and it could be about goalkeepers all around the world and what the latest trends are, latest topics in goalkeeping, good and bad. There's always a bad point in it, but we'll chat about it.
Totally agree, but let's jump straight into the show, and I think it's important that we place a lot of emphasis and focus on our national team, Bafana, because as we've just seen, the draw for the AFCON tournament has come out.
Yes, last night in Morocco, they had the AFCON draw for the 2025 tournament in Morocco. It starts on the 21st of December 2025 and ends on the 19th of January 2026.
Well, you mentioned those dates now, and I'm sure our viewers are going, well, hang on a second, that's the festive season, that's Christmas. Are you sure those are the draws? Well, you kid you not, that's the draw, and that's when the tournament is going to be played. So let's talk about that process for Bafana and how important it is coming off the back of the last one, going into this particular one, the experience that has come from that one, going into this one, Grant.
I think the good thing is that they're quite close together. I mean, the previous one ended in January and the next one is in December. So the nucleus of the team will stay the same, I presume, we're hoping, and without injuries, without suspensions. And I think the experience gained in that tournament is valuable going into any tournament.
And funny enough, you mentioned that we spoke about the draw last night, and we look at the teams in the group of Bafana.
I think you've got to be happy with the draw. There's always going to be difficult teams in the draw in your group. As in the last one, we had a couple of difficult games. The same again this time. We've got Egypt, who's a top team in Africa. They've won AFCON before. We've got Angola, tough team. You never know what you're going to get with Angola. And then we've got Zimbabwe, who always seems to be in our group. They were in the previous AFCON qualification group. They were in the World Cup qualification group. So Zimbabwe seems to be our team of choice.
And it's funny you mentioned that as I watched the draw myself last night, and as I saw the names come out, and it rang true to 1996 in that particular era of Bafana, where I saw Egypt come out the draw, South Africa, Angola, and those three teams were in the same group in 1996. Bar one, of course, we had Cameroon in the group then, and now Zimbabwe's in the group here. When I look back at that particular tournament and I saw how we negotiated that particular group stage, for example. So we beat Cameroon convincingly, actually, in the first game, 3-0, and then we got a 1-0 win over Angola, and it really set the team up, took the pressure off, unlike Bafana in the last one. How does that work mentally from a pressure perspective, and how do you handle such a process in a tournament?
That's tough. Obviously, in this previous AFCON, we lost our first game to Mali 2-0. We played really well, which was a bit of a confidence builder. But we lost 2-0, and that puts the pressure on the team. And maybe it was a good thing for us because it got us settled in the tournament, and we knew the next game we had to win. We played Namibia, we beat Namibia, and from there we just went from strength to strength. So the confidence built within the team. We drew at Tunisia, and that got us qualified for the next round. So going into a tournament like that, you can lose a game, not that you really want to, because you want that confidence, you want to win, you want to become a habit to get through to the next round.
100%. It's going to be a big year and a half or so ahead for the national team. When we talk about players and for big tournaments, coaches, they plan over a 4-year cycle. And so players, sort of, when you are regular in the team, players get older, you're looking for new players to come through. What's nice about this is it's shortened, so as you say, it's literally finished one AFCON and you're going to another AFCON. So you still, even your older players, you should still have available. Is that a good thing for your coaches who are trying to put teams consistently together?
Most definitely. For the last 3 years, we've had a really good team. we've had good results. I think we've played 40 games and we've lost 5. And those were away from home, tough games. So I think it's the nucleus of the team has been built, and we've got quite a strong nucleus, spine of the team, if you want to call it that. And every camp we try to bring in 1 or 2 new players or 1 or 2 youngsters, and try and, if result dependent, you've got to give them the game time. And that's what we've tried to do over the last 3 years, is keep adding in 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, I think when you look at the process that's needed as well, in terms of games and quality of games, the team is really going to go from an AFCON into a World Cup, which is great from a quality of opposition perspective. What's the thinking like in terms of the opposition and the quality of opposition in friendly games in preparation for the World Cup itself? Obviously, qualifying dependent. You want to be playing against the best teams in the world?
Well, I think 2025 is going to be a massive year for the team because, like you said, we've got World Cup qualification to take part in. And we in the group at the moment, you've got to play 10 games overall. The winner of the group automatically qualifies for World Cup. We're sitting nicely at the moment where we're level on points, I think, with Rwanda at the top of the group. We've got 6 games to play. 6, I wouldn't say easy games, but games that I believe we can win. We've got 2 against Lesotho, home and away. We've got 1 against Zimbabwe away. We've got Benin at home. We've got Nigeria at home. We've got Benin away and Rwanda at home, and then Nigeria at home. So I believe in those 6 games we could possibly win 4 of them, and that should guarantee us qualification for World Cup.
Yeah. With the 2 major tournaments being so close to each other, would you say there's a difficulty or a challenge placing the correct focus on the correct tournaments as you navigate your way through them both?
I think in my opinion, I think it's a better scenario. Rather than having 2-3 years between the tournaments, we're literally going to have 6 months between qualification to AFCON to the World Cup. Yeah. So they'll all be 6 months apart. And I think the good thing about that is that you'll know your team. The team will be together quite often. Yeah. You can build a great team spirit. You can build everything around the team, the support structures around the team, get the training plans in place, know the formation you want to play, and know what players you have on board. Obviously, players have to stay on form as well. And I think the way players are seeing it, they've got a lot to look forward to. And I'm sure if they're playing in their clubs, that they will be on form.
You mentioned playing in the clubs, and with the busy schedule that we've just spoken about for the national team over the next coming months or so, how does the challenge for the national team, technical team like yourselves, clubs are going to want to be playing their players all the time, because obviously ultimately they are the best players in their clubs. How do you navigate their game time, their minutes, in terms of saving them, playing them, when to know when to give them a break, that type of thing, because it's going to be tough for road?
Well, I think it's a tough call because the way football is at the moment, there's no break. Yeah. You're playing 12 months of the year. In June now we've got the Club World Cup, which Sundowns are part of, and we have quite a few players in that squad. And then in December we've got AFCON, and then next year June is World Cup. So there's no breaks anymore in football. And I heard somebody say the other day, the players are earning enough money now to warrant them playing 12 months of the year and not get that month off that they had in the past. So it's a difficult scenario. You've got to keep the players sharp and mentally prepared, and I think that's the big part.
100%. Well, there's so much more we can talk about, and we'll. The nice part about it is that in the coming months, the show is going to have you boots on the ground at the tournaments, and we'll be able to chat as much as we can to bring the inside information to all our viewers, which is going to be great for the platform, and that's how we keep the viewers obviously, I think, on the edge of their seats in terms of what's happening with our national team from game to game to game.
Well, I look forward to chatting to you in those scenarios, and leading up now to, we've got World Cup qualifiers in March. We play Benin at home, Benin away. I believe Benin are playing their games in Ivory Coast, so we'll be playing there, which we're quite used to that country. We spend the whole month there in AFCON. And then we've got Lesotho at home. We're not quite sure which city that'll be played in. Hopefully it's a city near you and we can fill the stadiums again.
Well, for now, it's we'll leave it at that, I suppose. And what's very, very important is that we stay tuned. We bring you the information that we have, of course, and we want it to be up to date and keep you informed of what's happening with our national team and other footballing chats that we have. But what we do need to do is urge you to stay in touch. We want you to keep interacting with the show. Of course, it's important that you stay tuned. We say you go visit our YouTube chat, where you will find us and you'll find everything you need to know about what's happening on a daily basis with the football show. And of course, until then, we'll chat for.
Yes, and don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, and we'll bring you lots of topics coming up. Andre, maybe the next one we can talk about is the derby coming up next weekend. We can have a chat about that. But yeah, we look forward to chatting to you. Keep well, stay safe, stay healthy. See you soon.
Our daily opinion on sport.